The Atmos Hybrid is your ultimate all-terrain freeride board. It has precise edge control for ultimate boosting. You really can hold the rail down with this board. With the way we designed the tips and the underbody shape of the board, on any kite loops or any heli loops, you really get nice and soft landings. The Atmos Hybrid comes in a carbon hybrid technology. Here we have a mixture of e-glass laminate with a combination of unidirectional carbon fiber reinforcements from tip to tip on the top and the bottom side of the board to dial in the flex of the board and give it this nice springy feeling.
You get the best of both worlds. You get a nice strong board from the e-glass and you get the unidirectional tapes which give you a really nice pop and a responsive feeling.
The Atmos Hybrid in the hybrid construction is a little bit more forgiving for chop and for hard landings. And when you load up the board, you get a bit more flex out of the board. One would argue that will cost you a little bit of top end boosting. The other one would say, well, it allows you to stay on the water for longer. And it's with everybody's preferences of what they like to ride and how they perceive the feedback of a board. The board has a really dynamic feel to it. You get a great response from the board. The way we've designed and shaped the outline of this board, combined with the flex pattern we've chosen, the thickness distribution of the core, really gives you a board that can handle chop very, very well. When it comes to rocker on boards, it's always a trade-off a little bit. A board with very low rocker is very good for early upwind planning, light wind, while a board with this heavier rocker is always good for overpowered riding or when the wind picks up and in a bit of rougher sea conditions. We want to find that nice balance where you get the best of both worlds. So we choose a medium rocker that is progressively pulling up to the tips. That way we still have the low end of the board in the light wind conditions, but also remain a good control over the board in overpowered conditions.
Yeah, I think we've got a good combination. Like we've still got a good amount of tip width, so you can really load up that rail and get some good pop for your jumps, but it's also pulled in right near the edge of the tip.
Similar to the Atmos Carbon, the Atmos Hybrid also features a single concave in the bottom shape that develops into quad channels to the tips. This really gives you a nice grip.
Yeah, I think the single concave in the center gives you the really soft landings, and having this channeling in the tip of the board really enables you to lock in.
And the channels in the tips also help you with dynamic stability. Once you land to ride out of your tricks, it really gives you this distraction a little bit. It's not this washy feeling. You can get really great grip again after you landed.
We've got these integrated grab rails in the center here, and so it's just a really easy place to grab, even if you're just carrying the board to the beach, you know, just locks in there. And having a bit of shape through the center here also stiffens up the board through that center. So ideally you want to have it fairly stiff through the center between your feet and more flex at the tips.
When we designed this board, we also put a great attention to detail on the thickness distribution of the wood core. We have a Polonia wood core on this board. We CNC machine the core from the top and from the bottom. And the way we design the thickness distribution in the longitudinal direction and the transverse direction contributes greatly to the way the board rides and feels.
And as with all our boards, they feature the ABS rails. So ABS is what car bumpers are made out of. It's what Lego's made out of. It's got really good impact resistance. So these just make our boards extremely long lasting. So this year for 23 on the Atmos Hybrid, we've got the Flip Tech mounting system. So this is just a great feature for longevity of your rails.
What I love about this board is the ride comfort you get off this. Everybody from us has a personal preference or personal favorite in the lineup, whether this be foil boards or twin tips. For me, the Atmos Hybrid, that's my go-to toy. After 20 years of kiting, my knees are not the greatest anymore, so I really enjoy the comfort I get with this board. It's really nicely balanced. I still can do all my big air stuff, you know, I still can load it up. I get a lot of joy out of the performance of this board. For 2023, the Atmos Hybrid comes in 136 to 144.
Yeah, so the Atmos Hybrid is an amazing board. The reason why I love this board too is because it is a hybrid version of the Atmos Carbon, which is my ultimate dream board. This is very similar DNA. The only main difference is the stiffness. So it is slightly more flexy, it's slightly more bent on the knees, it absorbs more. So for those choppier conditions, it's actually a lot nicer to ride than the carbon. So if you are out in gnarlier conditions, or you do have sore knees because you've been sending it all week, this board will definitely give you a delightful session.